I hope you all are very fine today. Thank you for joining us. I'm very excited to be here in Hyderabad. I love Hyderabad. I love Telugu language, the Italian of the East, as they say. I have been coming here very often for various works, and whatever I have experienced working in this industry, in Hyderabad, and I'm very impressed by the standards of professionalism with which this industry conducts itself. It's an example that every other industry in India or probably world should follow, and they should see how Telugu industry actually functions. It's amazing, and the results of that are very obvious, correct? Because Telugu industry works so hard and there are certain professional standards, you can see that it is working very well for them. We call this workshop Learn and Earn. But I will tell you honestly, I'm here more to learn. I'm here more to learn from these legends who are sharing the stage with me here. All of these people who have done amazing, great work. So it's just an honor to be here to share these days. What I have experienced or what I feel personally, being in Bombay for so many years and working in this creative industry, and whatever as a student of literature, as a student of dramatic arts, what I have learned and what I have observed is that every society, every country, every nation, every community is known by how they treat their artists. Unless we learn to treat our artists with dignity, with respect, and a good, dignified lifestyle, there is no meaning of that community. There is no meaning of however big achievements of a community are there. If your artists are dying hungry, then that community is useless for me. It makes no sense to have a community. It makes no sense of any achievements. You can go to the moon, but if your artists are dying hungry, then there's no point of going to the moon. Today we know about Cholas and Pandyas and these kingdoms because of the literature that was created at that time. We know them because of the great temples that were made at that time, because of the heritage, because of the artists, the artisans, the people who really spent time in this very, very spiritual conquest. And that pursuit has made those kings immortal. It is not how many wars they fought. It is not how many people they killed, how many people they jailed. It's not that. It's the temples that they built and the books that were written and the poetry that was written, the Sangam literature and all kinds of regional literature that has been there in India. It's very important for us to not only make sure that the artist survives. That's a very bad thing. Artists should not survive. They should thrive. When Raja Vikramaditya was the king of Ujjain, his palace was smaller than the palace of Kalidas. Because Kalidas was the poet and he said, you need bigger gardens because you're a poet. I'm an administrator. I'm an administrator of people's wealth. I can live in a small corridor. I can have a small garden, but you are Kalidas, the great composer, the great playwright. You need a bigger garden in your palace. Where is that respect now? Today we write the history of India. If you see the history of the world, you see the history of Britain when they write. When I studied history, they will say age of Shakespeare, age of Dryden, age of Alexander Pope. These are all poets. These are all writers. They divide their history by which writer lived in what time. And how are we dividing our history? You take our history books, age of Akbar, age of Babur, age of all the rulers. That is not the correct way of looking at history. That is not the correct way of creating a robust and a happy society if we are not giving the due to the artists. IPRS is a small step in that direction. IPRS takes care of the brethren, and it is the only body that actually puts creator first and everybody else. Of course, it's a company. It's not a union. It is not representing the government of India. It is not a trade union. It is a company, and it is a not-for-profit company. But at the end of the day, at the heart of it and the structure of it and the core strength of it comes from people like Rakesh ji and people like Arun Nair, who's our CFO. It runs because of these people's business acumen, and it makes sure that we artists earn money. But having said that, the soul of IPRS is rightly, as Rakesh ji said, it lies in the work of the creators. It lies in the work of the legendary people sitting on this dais and brothers like us. Since the last 3-4 years, what we are trying to do in IPRS, we are trying to make sure that the artists get their due. We make sure that the systems are more strong, more robust. But the biggest challenge that we are facing at every step is the awareness. The biggest challenge, the biggest problem is that in India, हम लोग को जुगाड़ करना अच्छा लगता है. हम लोग को किसी को देना अच्छा नहीं लगता. हम लोग को फ्री में सब लेना अच्छा लगता है. When I was a child, there used to be this magazine, a Hindi magazine called Sarita, and every issue of it, it will have a one-page ad where it will say, क्या आप मांग के खाना खाते हैं? क्या आप मांग के या चोरी करके कपड़े पहनते हैं? तो फिर आप मांग के पढ़ते क्यों हैं? आप चोरी करके पढ़ते क्यों हैं? But same thing is happening with music today. We want to pirate the music. We want to copy the music. We want to listen to the music. From the time a child is born till the time a man dies, we will play music at every point in his life. But we don't want to pay for it. Why should we pay for music? What is it? एक बार गाना बना दिया. One time you pay, that's enough. Suppose somebody gives me a little mango seed and I plant it in my backyard. And I take care of that mango seed and that sapling and that plant till it becomes a tree. For 10 years, I water it, I shade it from sunlight, I make sure that goats don't eat it. I put my blood and sweat and tears and everything into it, and then it becomes a big tree. And now one branch is going outside my courtyard and one mango falls down from that. Any person who's walking by can pick up that and say, this mango doesn't belong to you. What about the 10 years that I've spent in making this tree? An artist does not become artist overnight. Nobody here. Legends are on this dais, they will tell you. Can anybody become an artist overnight? No, it is not possible. It takes years. It takes years of perseverance. Words don't come to you, they don't appear. In olden times when Rishi Munis wrote Vedas, they don't wrote it. We call them mantra drishtas because they saw. But in today's time, we are not seeing any lyrics. Lyrics don't appear in front of us. We have to work hard at it. We have to work hard at the situation. We have to work hard at the characterization. We have to work hard at the storytelling. A composer has to work hard to create that composition so that it is complete hard work. It is like labor. It is not some divinity that is happening and giving us. So the 10 years or 20 years that you spend in becoming and achieving perfection in this art form, you cannot expect us to not have anything in exchange for that. A society must be proud, a country, a community, a state must be proud that, see, we are paying our artists. We are making sure that our artists are living happily. Our artists are happy. But unfortunately, we have failed. India has failed miserably in that aspect till about 4 years back. There was a very famous music director 50-60 years back when IPRS got his royalties he was dead, and there was a check for him ready to give him to the royalty, and his wife was found begging on a railway station. That is the situation of artists.